me enough to tattoo my lyrics on their body and like fly across the world to come see me, or they hate me so much that they wake up every day and run a Twitter account dedicated to how much they hate me. But either way, I'm provoking such an incredibly strong reaction out of people.
Divisive is the nature of the modern way. That's the way it goes. If you want to put yourself out there, there's every chance that you're going to divide opinion.
Yeah, it's incredibly polarizing to be an artist as well. I think that anyone who creates something that, is meant to evoke emotion, is meant to provoke a feeling from someone, is bound to have that split, reaction. Like Kanye West, an incredible artist, and I think that a lot of people hate him, but also there are people who would die for him, and a lot of the greatest artists that I've ever loved or I've ever looked up to have been artists that have that very, very polarizing split where people either love them or they hate them. And I'm seeing that with New Americana so much right now, where people think it's like the social commentary, the satirical pop song, you know what I mean? Like, because the song is a satire, and then the people who don't get that, who are like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I'm like, that's because you're taking it seriously. So it's been such an interesting thing to watch, and also been really cool to see a lot of my really young fans, to see how intelligent they are, because nothing goes past them. They pick up on every little tiny calculated detail that I put into it, and it makes it so gratifying for me. It's like, it's worth it, to do that and to make moves that are, strategic, and to make moves that are well thought out and formulaic for them, hoping they'll discover it. And then they do. And I'm like, yes, you guys are so smart. Like, I love watching it.
Phone boy, I'm off the deep end, sleeping on that through the weekend, saying that I love him, but I know I'm gonna leave him. Just say that you're no good for me, 'cause I'm always tugging at your sleeve, and I swear I hate you and you leave. I like it anyway. My where'd you go?
But what I've learned, and this is a side note, but it's relevant, I promise, is that, with my project, I have learned it's been so much more successful for me to be myself. I pride myself on being an artist who's authentic, who's real, and not an artist who says they're authentic and real, someone who genuinely is. I don't censor myself. I say whatever I'm thinking all the time. I don't worry if it's not, upkeeping a personality, upkeeping a brand. There's no mood board.
Were you raised that way? Did your parents did they say no to you?
Yeah, absolutely. But my parents had me when they were really, really young, so they were just really encouraging of me figuring out who I am. But they were also, guinea pigging me. They had no idea how to raise a kid, I remember being 18 years old, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. I can't afford to go to college. And they're looking at me like, we don't know what to do either. I'm damn. Like, you know what I mean? With their hands in the air, and all of us just kind of having this moment of panic. But, I don't have a mood board hanging up on the wall in my bedroom that's like, okay, so these colors are Halsey, and this way of talking is Halsey, and this way of dressing is Halsey. I change how I dress all the time, change how I talk all the time, because I'm a person. I'm multidimensional. I'm not a brand. And the thing is like, the more honest and the more personal that I can be, the more these people are likely to be like, cool, we believe her. Like, so when she says buy this thing, she must really mean buy this thing. She's not just trying to sell us BS.
Yeah, the trust is crucial in this day and age amongst the artistic community, and the relationship that you foster with your audience. And hopefully the role that places like Beats One provide is to say, you know what, here's an artist you can trust, here's an audience looking for something to believe in, and we're the proud bridge to try and make that happen, or at least help that happen. And I think that trust is crucial. How thick is your skin?
I was going to say, I think that's the masochism in it, is the fact that I need to be myself and put myself on the line all the time. And it's almost like this sacrifice in a weird way. It's like, and it's such an arrogant way to think of yourself as like this martyr, like, oh, I'll let myself get beat up because someone has to say it. You know what I mean? But that's really how I feel. It's like, I would rather get absolutely chastised and crucified for, being like this about my opinion, or being like this about my sexuality, about my personality, about whatever, because someone has to. I'm not suggesting I'm the only artist who does. That would be ridiculous. New Americana has brought up all these, oh, Halsey, the voice of a generation. Like, no, that's not what I want to be. I am the voice of myself. I would not be arrogant enough to walk into a room and say, yeah, I cover all the bases. Incredible.
But would you go on a cover of a magazine that suggested that title?
I would probably ask them to put New Americana voice of the generation, because if the song wants to speak for people, that's fine, but I'm not going to. Like, if people decide that they vibe with the song and the song speaks to something in them, that's great, but the song has its own voice. The song at this point has taken on its own shape, and that, as my job as a songwriter, is to do that. My songs are supposed to speak for me initially, and then they're supposed to grow and evolve and turn into something else. And that's the thing for me, is I'm not the voice of a generation. I'm speaking for myself, and I'm fortunate enough that I am in a very, very versatile position, and this gets talked about all the time. I'm half black, I'm half white, I have bipolar disorder, I'm bisexual, I'm in such a split of the world. So there's a lot of, walks of life that I relate to and a lot of walks of life that I understand. So in writing this song, it was a satire about that, about growing up in diversity, about growing up as the kid who didn't fit anywhere. There's an expression in Norwegian that's translates to falling between two chairs. And so you're trying to sit down and you fall in between two chairs. It's so funny as a metaphor, like I get it, because that fleeting moment, that feeling where you think you're about to sit down and you miss the chair and fall between them. Like I feel like that kind of every day. So like I kind of get it. I've never really fit in anywhere.
Cigarette.
People said here the other day, he was like, there's only so many people that think different that are allowed to fit in. If you're bold enough to say it, if you're bold enough to stand up and express yourself and be honest about how you feel, no one can stop you fitting in.
My skin is not that thick though. I've got like 500,000 followers on Twitter. It's nothing compared to like One Direction's 24 million or whatever, you know what I mean? But my level of engagement is so incredibly high. The thing that I've learned is I need to pay attention. I know I have a lot of friends who are artists who say, oh, don't read, don't search your name, don't blah, 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 blah. But I have to, because that's where I find the good things. And I don't mean compliments. I mean, that's where I find a kid who says, I would love if Halsey did this. The reason for me being so involved with my fans is because I need to know them. And unfortunately, what that means is as I'm scrolling and I'm seeing, well, I wish Halsey would play here, and I wish Halsey would do this, and I wish Halsey would blah, blah, and I love when Halsey... But unfortunately, I'm scrolling through a ton of tweets that say, I wonder who Halsey slept with. Her music's not that good. Or, tweets that say, I can't stand Halsey because she said she's half black and half white, but she only looks white, and I think she's lying.
When you read those things, I think so much of it is about the context of the day and what you're going through. There are days you feel bulletproof. I got my crew behind me, my fans are beside me, my records sound good, I got some good news. You know what? Take that comment and stick it.
Yeah, I scroll past something and I go, oh, okay, but like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I scroll past something that's like, Halsey's a bad feminist because she blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. What are you doing? I'm at least out here talking about it and, trying to start the conversation. And you're behind a computer at home. What are you doing besides criticizing how I'm doing something? And
you got to find a way through it, man.
I do. I'm getting much better.
Because it's just starting for you. Let me tell you.
So much worse.
You talk about 500,000 Twitter followers right now. Let's catch up in 6 months and see where you're at.
Well, I gained 400,000 in the past 5 months.
You're listening to a feature interview with an artist who delivers her debut album Badlands official tomorrow. Drive by Halsey. The anticipation for your album for Badlands is huge.
Which is awesome.
It's great, and the records that have come out have set that up and teed that up brilliantly. You've come out there and teed it up, but, you've said this is a concept record. I do concept music. I don't go in there. I don't try and put 10 of the best songs I'm co-writing with 10 great writers together and bish, bosh, bash, there you go, top 40 radio. Which is why you're perfect for us, because we don't play that game.
Awesome.
So you've created this concept record, and concepts have been really lacking in art.
Yeah. I can't write any other way. That's one thing I've come to realize, in writing. And like, I'm so excited for the album to come out because I think it's going to help me a lot with what we were just talking about. Because right now, all anyone has to talk about right now is my personality and is this and what I say and my Twitter and my this and my that. I'm about to put out a record that is a better reflection of me than I can ever possibly articulate on a social media. And I'm going to let that speak for myself. And then I'm going to let them change their tone and change what they're saying. And I'm really excited to watch it happen because, I'm talking to you right now as someone who knows about my whole record. I know what my body of work is. I know what I've said, what I've done, what I've accomplished, what I've indicated on this record. And I'm talking to you with the air of someone who knows all these things. Well, it's the hardest thing for an artist to do is make a record and hand it in, hands shaking, cold sweat, hand it to someone and say, God, I hope I still like this in 6 months when it comes out, and I need to believe in it. And I am, just thrilled with it. I really, really think that I did the best I could, and it's been so therapeutic for me because 6 months ago, I was incredibly insecure about the record. I was like, oh, what if people don't like it? What if it doesn't blah, blah, blah? What if it doesn't blah, blah, blah? And now I'm here, and I'm like, I know, because I still like it, because I still believe in it, I know that I did everything in my power to make that record the best thing that it could be. And if people don't like it, there's nothing more that I could have done. It was a risky thing to do. I call my record company and I say, I'm making this concept album. And everyone goes, what do you mean? You are the Tumblr, blue-haired, pop icon, girls love you. You're dropping the ball. You could make something so... And I'm like, you, like, whatever, like, I don't want to hear that, like, I'm gonna make the album I want to make. And so, we sat down to do Badlands, and it just turned into a monster, like, in the best way. Like, it became so scientific. Like, I sat down and originally, came up with this idea for the concept, which is this post-apocalyptic society. It's this booming metropolis, neon lights, like, a corrupt government, this just, like, moving, rotating city surrounded by a desert wasteland. And what the desert does is it keeps people from the surrounding societies of the world from getting into the city, and it keeps people from the city of Badlands from escaping, because no one can make it through the desert. And so I start working this concept. I'm like, what do the people look like? What do the buildings look like? What are the colors? What is this? What's the history? What's the blah, blah? Where do I fit in? Like, where's my place in the Badlands? And about halfway through working this, I have, like, a serious body-shattering epiphany. The entire thing is a metaphor for a mental state. So, in the center of my head is this booming metropolis with corrupt forces and neon lights, and it's buzzing, it's revolving, it's never sleeping, and it's surrounded by unexplored territory. People can't come in, and I can't escape. And, that came even further for me, because all of a sudden I realized I'm regressing. It's a defense mechanism. I'm creating an imaginary playland that when I get home from a really busy day of press, of flights, of whatever, I don't have to deal with my real life, because I can go home and I can work on Badlands.
You compartmentalize yourself away into the artistic process.
It became an obsession, and then...
Which is what art is. It is obsessive compulsive.
Absolutely. I thought something was wrong with me. I've never done a body of work this big. And so here I am, like, oh my God, I'm crazy. Like, I'm actually crazy. Something is wrong with me. But, it was also incredibly therapeutic, because I'm having this realization and I'm accepting it. And it got so scientific for us, because my favorite records that I've ever loved are records that I feel like exist in their own universe. The Arctic Monkeys record, AM. I feel like that is their own black and white graphic novel, leather jacket, rainy street world. The 1975 record, very similar. Kanye West records, all of them. Like, even, like, the Lana Del Rey records, a lot of records that Mulhaney's done, like, just this idea of creating a space, creating a world. But I wanted to take that further. And I wanted to create physical parameters. So when Lito and I sat down to do the record, it got scientific. It was, if I throw a rock at a wall 50 feet away, how long will it take for me to hear the echo? Apply that delay to the percussion. If I'm talking to you from the back of the room and I have my hands cupped and the room is about this big, this tall, and made of this material, how far will my voice echo? Put that reverb on my vocal. And, just taking all of these very scientific ideas of how sound reacts in certain spaces and in certain, environments, applying it to the songs, and then hope.
It's reaching out from all over the world right now on socials. And Hold Me Down. Part 5.
Every single song on Badlands is a different part of the landscape. There's a Badlands website, and there's a Badlands gift shop, and we've done, secret codes and secret leaks, and this kind of, like, guerrilla warfare.
There's a Badlands gift shop?
Everything in it's free. So you see that it's a gift shop and you go, oh, this is some ploy for her to make money, and you click on it, but it's actually free. So kids get posters and stuff like that, and we're just kind of giving them away so they can be, like, a part of it or whatever. But, we've leaked a couple songs. I hope my record company doesn't hear that I just said that, because they actually don't know, but we leaked a couple songs. It's cool too, because it doesn't ruin anything. The cores get it, and then everyone else has no idea it happened.
Let me ask you a question, because the way you described yourself before and the way that you deal with your brain and your mind, it works with you and also works against you, which anybody listening, whether they admit it or not, can relate.
Self-aware to the point of a fault.
Right.
Yes.
Which comes with things like anxiety or bipolar syndrome or anything else. It really focuses on the negative as much as the positive. Putting yourself out on that stage with the hunger that you have to get your art out there, get your fans to be, absolutely love what you're doing. Do you have the right team behind you? Because it's going to get crazy.
My team is incredible, and I have so much, investment in this project that it's like there's two really bad things that could potentially happen to me. And the first one would be that I, drive myself crazy and this kills me because of how over-involved I am and how, my brain is this revolving door that is consistently moving through the motions of this. I wake up and I live this. I live this. Like, a lot of these kids think I have some life, and I don't. Like, I don't have friends. I don't go out. I don't do anything. Every single day I wake up and this is all that I do from morning to night. Then when I lay down on my bed at night, my brain doesn't shut off. My brain never shuts off. It is constantly thinking about this. And my brain has always been that way, always been very buzzing, like a machine that's overworking itself, like since I was a little kid. But now it's like a speeding bullet getting faster. And I'm wondering when I'm going to hit something. The second really bad thing that could happen to me would be that I let this, consume my personality, and I let, the fortunate successes that I've had take me to a point of arrogance. But the thing is I'm so self-deprecating and so self-critical all the time that I don't think that could happen. Like when I walk out on stage and I play a show, it doesn't matter if it's 500 kids in a club, 20,000 people on an Imagine Dragons show, 6,000 people headlining a festival at night, it doesn't matter what it is. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, I walk off stage and I look at someone and I go, God, that was awful. I did this, I did that. And someone looks at me and goes, Ashley, what are you talking about? That was awesome.
Sadly, even the people close to you will never feel it the way you do because you're making it.
And I'm constantly overcorrecting. And that's the thing. I'm trying to keep my head up and constantly overcorrect myself without everyone around me realizing that I am just constantly in fear of not doing this right. And I care about my fans so much. Every time some kid, because I'm a 20-year-old girl, you know what I mean? I don't have this sense of like, yes, I'm above you, buy my things, do my stuff. I'm like, hey, I'm one of you. I've been a fan of something before. Thank you for making me that thing for you. Like every time a kid comes up to me and shows me a tattoo of my lyrics they have on my body, I walk away thinking, oh God, well, I really can't this up now, or this kid's gonna feel really dumb in a couple years. Every time I do something, whether it's play a show, put out an album, do an interview, whatever, I'm thinking to myself, I gotta do it for those kids with the tattoos because I don't want them to be 40 and have to explain this girl that fell out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm serious.
Everybody has to explain their tattoos at 40.
But I just mean, like, from a metaphorical standpoint, like, oh yeah, she was the singer and then it didn't work out and she was like a one-hit wonder and like whatever, but I really believed in her at the time, so I got this. I don't want that. I want someone when they're 40 to be able to say, this is a Halsey tattoo, and for their friends to know who the that is.
Wait. Beats one.
Yo, this is J.U.